international travel was put to a halt in 2020, Canada still had over 500,000 international students within its borders. This created a lot of uncertainty to a group that not only contributes over $20 billion annually to the Canadian economy, but brings diverse perspectives and experiences to Canadian campuses. And while we might assume that a lot of these students are young and single like myself, the reality is that a lot of international students come to Canada with their families. So their kids, their spouses, sometimes even their parents, and they're not as young or as financially secure as we might think. Because of these assumptions, Canadian universities rarely take into account the families of international students, which creates huge challenges. At the University of Calgary, almost 1/3 of the graduate student population is made up of international students. So how many of them come with their families? We don't know. We don't know because we're not really looking at them. So I decided to look. My master's research focuses on the experiences of international graduate students and their families. How are they adapting to a space that doesn't really account for them? What do they want? What do they need? I interviewed around 30 international graduate students and over 10 spouses of international graduate students. I spent from 1 to 3 hours with each of them, really listening to their stories, seeing their experiences. I found that programs and policies for international students only go so far, really focusing on them as single units, not acknowledging that they have families, they are mothers, caretakers, and they have family responsibilities and needs. Because of this, the university only sees half of the picture and is ill-equipped at fully supporting international students and their dependents, who oftentimes experience high rates of isolation, racism, financial stress. Among the participants of my master's research, the common word used to describe their first year in Calgary was surviving. In fact, international graduate students are the highest clients of the on-campus food bank, with many families living on the poverty line. There are programs at the University of Calgary that support international students through one-on-one mentorships, immigration advising, and we also have one program dedicated specifically to the families of international students, which is great. But within academic departments and the greater university, these families are basically invisible. If universities want to continue to increase the number of international students on their campuses, they need to acknowledge students that come with families. Only then can this population truly thrive and not just survive.